going live. Alrighty, we are there, and we will see how it goes. So last time I did this, the delay on YouTube was kind of annoying because it didn't sync, the voice in the video didn't sync. So hopefully this time it will work. We'll see how that works. Anyway, I tried to set it up so that I could do another phone with YouTube, and that didn't work. Because apparently you have to have like a certain number of subscribers or something like that for that to happen. I don't know. Omar Fox said, I don't want to go to hell. Well, that is definitely a good goal in life, is not to do that, and also not to live in hell, because sometimes all right, well, sold your soul as a demon, huh? Well, that sounds like maybe you should get your money back, or give them their money back, or something. I don't know. I don't think that's exactly how it works. I don't think you get to sell your soul to be a demon. So the theology that I have learned does not align with that, but I could be wrong. I don't know everything about the spirit world. There's a lot I don't know. I know some. My pup is over here playing. So you're gonna hear her claws tapping away. So we are back, another live, and there was a request that we talk about my DIY oils that I'm constantly talking about in all of my lives. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. I've got a bunch of things set up here. I've got my little vial of magic potion here that we will discuss, and I'll give you guys some pointers and some things that I have discovered. Ramirez is with us, so cool, good beans, good deal. So, and this is something that my husband and I both use. Hair, face, beards, not mine. I cut mine, but yeah. All right. So things that we're talking about. Okay, so this one, so you guys, if you follow me, might know, I am doing a palette every week to kind of get to know it, because I've got a bunch of them. And this is the one, Hannah's here, yay. Good, because she was one that said that she wanted to talk about the oil. So this is my Summer Saint-Tropez from BH Cosmetics. This is the one. It looks so rough. Oh my goodness, this poor palette, but it's so pretty. I mean, the colors are so pretty. It itself is not pretty because I dropped it, and I dropped it this way, so I kind of just pushed everything back in, but it's chipped around the edges, and I probably should just grind everything up and repress it, but I wanted to avoid that. But now it looks like it's, I don't know, is it disintegrating around the edges? I'll keep watching it, and hopefully that doesn't happen. I might have to put some more alcohol in there and try to convince it. But this has been beautiful and wonderful and fantastic to use this week. And all of those looks are on my stories highlight. That is spring 2021 looks, if you want to see those. And then for next week is this pretty little guy here. This is the Profusion Nude Bliss. It looks like this. It is pretty nude, and that is not necessarily what I do on the everyday, but I can do that. Actually, it's funny, because when I do nude, let me put this up here so I can, there we go. When I do nude looks, I really like, they make my heart feel really happy. I like color, and color is like creative and energetic, but when I do this, it's like, yeah, there. It feels like I'm home. So anyway, this has one, what is this called? Glitter. There we go, pressed glitter in it. These are actually pretty good. This is a beautiful pressed glitter though. But other than that, it's all mattes and shimmers. And this is one of their 21 pan. And I have dipped into here several times, as you can well see, but I will be dipping in here for 5 looks next week. So you guys can follow me on Facebook if you are not already doing Instagram, if you are not already doing that, and get an idea of what I'm doing to put those together. But speaking of palettes, hello camera, there we go. All right, focus on me. So we did a little impromptu Ulta haul because there was a situation in which they're like, oh yeah, here's a sale. And I was like, huh? And then I had, was it an extra coupon or something? I don't remember what it was, but I feel like there was like an extra bit off too. And I had a moment of weakness. And so I succumbed. So this is my succumbedness. So we'll run through this stuff and look at some of the other goodies that we did. And then we're going to talk about the oils, because the oils are, I think Hannah's here for that. So hi, Hannah. So this is, look at how cute it is. It's so cute. So I wasn't going to do this, but I did because it was on sale for like half price. So this is the ColourPop Bambi collab, and this is the flower palette. And you can't blame me because it's purple. Look at that. This right here is really beautiful. It is a gorgeous holographic sort of. It looks just white. It's not. It's got this beautiful holographic sort of thing going on. This is pretty much a standard shimmer. These are just 2 different shades of the same thing, but this one's kind of special. It is it's a really deep, like aubergine sort of eggplant sort of color, and it has the glitter in it, so it's that diamond finish sort of thing, but really nice. And yeah, like I said, it was a moment of weakness. It was like $7 or something like that, or maybe less than that, because I think it was on sale, plus I got a discount off of that or something. So I decided to try a couple things that I hadn't, and that was one of them that found its way in there. I had to do, like, you know, the free shipping and all that kind of stuff, and I think that was one that was basically free. I did also grab this in the last one. We talked about how I'd gotten the pink one. This is the gray one, and this is the LA Girl matte in Poetic. So yeah, so that's what we did. Anyway, I'll be going through these and kind of showing you what we have. And I'm deciding from these, and I've already shown some of these, but I'm deciding which one of these to use in the next month looks. So you guys can give me feedback on that. But anyway, I'm kind of taking from this pile and seeing. But there's other things that need to make their way to me that have not yet, because apparently the USPS is incredibly inefficient or something. They'll blame it on COVID, but she was napping just fine. And then I started this, and she's like, oh, I think I shall chew on my toy now. So I'm trying to get this really simple base sort of thing going on, because I just, you know, eye makeup, I'll do that all day long, but I want to do a really simple base. Like, that's my goal, is just to have like one product to throw on. That hasn't been super successful. And weirdly, I'm finding that my nose, which is weird because it's usually oily, but now it's like getting really crusty and dry and stuff, and it's just weird. So this guy was one. This is like I think, well, if you like on Ulta, it's like $17, and at Walmart, it's like $12 or something like that. But there was a coupon at CVS. Although they've been having problems with my account. But CVS is actually a good one. If you like the stuff that they carry, it's actually good to kind of get the card and subscribe, because there's a bunch of coupons and stuff that they'll send you in your email. And I regularly get like 35%, 40% off one product, or like $2 off or something like that. And that can come in handy. Anyway, so this is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Instant Wrinkle Blurring Pressed Powder. And it pretty much does what it says. So I've heard some people really talking well about this. Now, what I found is I can put it on here, but when I put it on my nose with a primer, or you know what I did this morning is I used it with this Essence My Skin tinted primer, My Skin Perfector. And this is kind of a thicker substance, and it worked well on this part, but when I got to my nose, it was like crackled, like it looked like mosaics on my nose. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. So I kind of wiped it off, and then I redid, I actually re-moisturized my nose because I'm like, maybe that's the problem. So I moisturized my nose, and then I just put this on instead of using the primer. And that seems to have worked, but now it's a little shiny. But not too bad. I did it this morning before church, and I didn't retouch. So actually, it's not too bad. I don't know. I'm gonna keep trying that. That might be my new holy grail. Is that what we're saying now? I don't know what the lingo is for YouTube, because I know we've got our lingo. Also, we over enunciate, and we put schwas at the end of every single word. Okay, that's something that I've noticed when YouTubers are talking, that they put their schwas at the end of every single syllable. And sometimes they make up syllables that aren't even there. Yeah. My glasses are from Zenni. My jumpsuit is from Shein. I ordered once or maybe twice from there. I like the stuff. I just have like ethical issue with the whole human rights things and stuff like that in China. So I try to avoid it, but Zenni is made there too. So lots of things are made there. Speaking of inexpensive, were we speaking of inexpensive? All right, YouTube. All right, settle down. Sometimes that camera is just like on YouTube. Sometimes it works. So yesterday we were in Minneapolis, and back in the day when I was living closer to the city, I mean, we're close, we're like 15 minutes, but still like actually in the city and working actually in the city, there was a place that I discovered that really, really I enjoyed a lot. And that is it Hassan? It's, I don't know. Okay. There's a perfume on Lake Street. If you know Minneapolis, there's a perfume store that is in a little strip mall that's by the old Kmart there. I don't know. Does that Kmart even exist? I don't think so. I mean, clearly I'm not around there that much, but they have all of these like Middle Eastern perfumes. So it is Somalian owned. There's like a little tiny mosque in there. I don't even know if you'd know there's a mosque, except that people are going in there for worship and whatnot. But they have a perfume store, and they sell all of the Middle Eastern perfumes, and they sell them really cheap. They used to be $15 a bottle, and I was like, maybe, I don't know how cheap they are, but maybe it's the same. And they're the same. So $15 a bottle for like the big, like 3 ounce, 100 mil, 3.3 ounce. Is that what it is? 100 mil bottles, like the full size bottles of this beautiful stuff. I went in there and showed my husband, because we both like perfumes. And so we did a little bit of checking around, but then I was looking at these. Sorry, I'm trying to get the lid off. We were looking at these, right? So they have these little oils, and I love these, even for how they look. They're so pretty. But I also just like the idea that there's an oil on the end of this thing, and it's not a dropper. It's just this guy, and then you just let it, whoop, there's my oil. So the problem is with these is I find that they're over there playing. I find that they smell differently than they do actually on your skin. And so, I mean, that's the thing with oil, is it just kind of blends in with your skin, and it's not like alcohol-based perfume. So this is from Nabir. What is the brand? Oh, Nassim. Nassim. There's Navir too. There's a bunch of them. And it's Bad, B-A-A-D, Kalbi, Q-A-L-B-I. Of course, that's the transliteration because it's Arabic. I do not know what that means, but it's this cute little heart-shaped. Come on. Come on. There we go. Cute little heart-shaped. And that's for my camera, my webcam that sometimes doesn't focus right. It's got like roses. A lot of these are oud based, as this is. It's just a very pretty oud, rosy oud. I don't know. It's really nice. There's a lot of musk in there, I think, and some other stuff. So that's what we did yesterday. That was kind of fun. So let's talk oil. So one of the things that I like to talk about on my social media and on these channels is about the fact that I use my DIY oil. And this oil is what I use in my hair, and it's what I use on my skin. So I have PCOS, which I usually also talk about in most videos because it's relevant. And that has caused me to do a lot of like hair loss. I also have thin, fine hair naturally, but I've never really been able to get my hair to get really full like how it is. This is about as thick and full as it's ever been in my life, which is pretty good considering I am aging. I'm at 45 years old. But I was balding a lot before, and just the problem is I have combination skin and combination hair, if that makes sense. So the ends, because it's very high porosity. So there's a bunch of things that you'll learn about natural hair and whatnot if you do the research. But high porosity basically means that the follicles open up. So these, my dog's walking underneath the table and bumping everything. So there's these little, almost like scales, and they open up and allow moisture and whatnot to come in, but then they also allow it to escape very easily. So it'll get saturated. If I sprayed it with water, it would soak it all in and get saturated really quickly, but then it also dries very quickly because of the high porosity. And so it would lose moisture at the end, but then it would try to recompensate by developing and producing a lot of sebum at the top. So I'd have really oily hair here and dry hair here. So it would be damaged and broken and lots of split ends and whatnot. Rainbow, calm yourself. Sorry, Mom, I was playing with Daddy. Children. Anyway, so she's, oh yeah, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. Yeah, you're cute. Yeah, okay. All right, go see Daddy. So anyway, so I started a few years ago looking at oils, and I don't know if I started it for the hair first, or if I think I started it for skin first. And that was partly because I started to research. I had a lot of the acne that comes from PCOS, and I don't know if you can see, if I get a little bit closer, I have a lot of scarring, a lot of texture on my face here. You can see better because it's more of in the shadow. There's a lot of like different kinds of texture here, and that's texture. That's not breakouts. I don't have any active breakouts. And I haven't really had any active breakouts. Once in a great while, I'll get something that surfaces, but that's not very common. And I believe I went to a grocery store and I got something along the lines of this. So this is just grapeseed oil, and it's food quality. And I just started to take literally a couple of drops. I tried to do it with heavier oils, and that really didn't do the trick for me, because the heavier oils, because my skin is combination, but mostly oily. Well, it is oily, but now it's combination because I'm getting older. And so it would just it would clog it up. So I learned I had to use these lighter oils. So I used grapeseed oil. I used, I'm trying to blank. What was the second one that I used? I forgot. It was like a fruit nut oil. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to you. But anyway, I used a couple of different kinds that were more like, they call them dry oils, right? The oils that are not going to clog your pores as much. So they're not as heavy. So the things to know about oil, as I've mentioned before, is that oils are a barrier and they are a carrier. Oils are not moisture. So when you say that you need moisture in your skin and then people respond and say, no, my skin is oily, I don't need moisture. Yes, you do. So hydration is not the same as oil. So your skin needs to be hydrated in order to just be healthy, to look good, to look, like for example, anti-aging is usually putting moisture into your skin, and it plumps up the skin, and the plumping of the skin kind of blurs the lines and whatnot and lessens the look of the wrinkles. You do not actually reduce your wrinkles. There's no such thing as that, but you can plump the skin. That makes the wrinkles look less intense. So that's the idea. But what you have to do is get moisture into your skin. And then once you get moisture into your skin, especially if you have dry skin or just as you're aging, you have to seal it in. And that's what oil does, is oil will seal in the moisture. So what I do when I use this, and I'll tell you in a minute what I've got in here, which is a whole bunch of stuff, but you don't have to go that extreme. I just experiment. When I wash my face, and I'll back up and tell you how I actually use it. But when I wash my face, I don't dry my face, because when you dry your face, you're removing the moisture, which is water. So water is the best moisture that you can get into your skin, into your hair. And so I don't dry my hair or my skin. And I started not drying my hair. And then I would just take a few drops, like literally 4 drops after I wash my hair, and I just work it into like sopping wet hair. So just as I get out of the shower, while it's still dripping, I don't wrap it in a towel or anything. I just squeeze and I go down. So I put 4 drops in here, 4 or 5 drops, rub my hands together. And that's for my hair. I don't have a lot of hair. My hair is thin. So that's how much hair I've got. That's everything pulled over to the side. So I don't have a whole lot. It is getting thicker, but it's pretty thin. And it's quite fine. So I just work it through this way. And then the oil helps to keep the moisture in the follicles of the hair. So it is a barrier. It does 2 things. It keeps things out and it keeps things in. If you put oil on dry skin or dry hair, you are going to seal moisture out. And that is not what you want to do. So you want to put it on wet hair and wet skin, or at least moisturize. So you can use aloe vera, which is mostly water. That's really what you're doing. Or really any other kind of moisturizer, and then put your oil over the top and it will hold that in. Now, when I use this, I actually put this on first, and then I am using moisturizers because I've gotten them in like some of my Ipsy and Boxy and whatnot. So I hadn't been using them before, but I was getting pretty dry, so I started using them, and I put this first on my skin, and then I put on the moisturizer. But again, I don't let it dry. So I put this on a wet face, put it all over while my skin is still wet and I still have this. I put my moisturizer and I put that over the top. So it all just kind of meshes together and it gets kind of held in there. And I find that that does really well to make sure that I'm not over moisturizing. The other thing is, if you notice, I don't know who else has noticed this, but if you put oil onto dry hair, it just sits there and it doesn't actually go into the follicles. So it just feels greasy. And that is, my husband is serenading us over there humming. And so that is, that can be a problem. So you want to avoid, especially at the scalp, don't put oils into the scalp when it's dry, because it'll just kind of sit there. If you find that your hair is getting greasy, you can just spray it with water and then brush it, or even just rub it like this. Just take your fingers and kind of work down the strands, and that will make the oil get to the ends. So if that makes sense, hopefully that does. Now, why do oils work and why do I not generally use skincare? I am not against skincare. I just think skincare is overpriced, because what I can put in here, if I was to compare this to any skincare in the market, this would be way more potent than anything you can get basically anywhere, and way cheaper. And it's also I've made it specially for myself. So I've decided what I wanted, and I've put it all together in here, and I've customized it for what I need. So this, basically the way that you have to look at your skin, you have to look at your hair is like any ecosystem or ecosystem. And that is nature always, always, always will be smarter and more powerful than we will. It just will. You will never beat nature. And if you try to beat nature, you're going to be sadly disappointed, and you are going to be the loser. And so we have to look at what's happening with our skin and what we're trying to get to happen, and why it is that our skin is not cooperating with us. Because if our skin is not cooperating with us, it's because we are doing something wrong. It's not our skin's problem, it's our problem. And so generally speaking, the issue that a lot of people have, besides the levels of oil and moisture and not understanding how moisture and oil works, and keep in mind, I am not a specialist in this. I have just done some research, and I'm a logician, meaning I use logic to figure things out and understand things. And that's how I've always been, just somebody who logically looks at things and weighs things and evaluates them. But I'm not an expert, so you can disagree, or an expert can disagree, or whatever. But I have found this to work, and I think that I am a good example of how it does work, because I can show you exactly how it works on me. And you can look back at my old images, my old pictures, and see my hair, how it was a year or 2 or 3 ago, and it was completely different story. Completely. There was nothing there. I mean, almost. Very, very little hair. And I had lots of breakouts and all that kind of stuff too. I don't think you would have necessarily seen that, but you might have in some cases. So what happens is that we mostly struggle with clogged pores. So we have to understand what pores are. Pores are your body's natural method of cleansing your body. And it's not just your skin, but it actually is cleansing inside your body and pushing toxins out of your pores. So your pores help to keep your body, the sweat helps to keep you cool. It helps to keep you hydrated. It helps to keep your skin healthy by, kind of breathing out, but it also excretes toxins out of it. And so it's very important that your pores stay healthy and they stay open and clear. And this is an important thing. Stop trying to shrink your pores. Okay, that is not what you want to do. You want your pores open, because if your pores are open, then your skin is going to be doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is excreting toxins and excreting extra oils and fat and things that it needs to have. If those pores get too shrunken, or if they get cleared out, they'll get clogged. And so this is what a lot of people are doing. So we have things like, we have the Biore nose strips that you pull the thing off, and then the next day it's all clogged up again, and you're like, I literally just cleaned my nose out and now all the pores are clogged again. That's because they're supposed to be. Okay, so understanding that your pores are constantly pushing out the toxins, and when you go in and you clean everything out, what you've done is you make it so that it's not lubricated anymore. It's basically like if you go into the car and you use Dawn detergent and you clean out all of the cylinders of oil and you say, good, now my car is clean. Your car is not going to work, because it needs to have the oil so everything can move smoothly and everything can run smoothly. If it doesn't have the oil, it's not going to be well lubricated. So your skin needs the oil. So stop trying to clean your pores out to the point that there's nothing working through them. It needs to be working. It needs to be constantly open and clear, but clean, but clear. And so if you look back historically, people used to be a lot smarter than they are now. And the reason that they were a lot smarter is because they understood that nature was smarter than us, and that nature knew what it was doing. And so they looked at the skin and said, oh, oil? Hey, let's put oil to clean oil. We'll put clean oil on this, and that's going to help. So they learned if you put oil on your skin, it is a barrier. Okay, so it's a barrier that's going to protect you from the elements, protect you from pollution. It's going to keep bad things out. So that's one thing that the oil does, is it helps to keep bad stuff off your skin. The other thing it does is it barricades maybe the moisture and the good stuff inside your skin. So once you have the moisture and things like that, it keeps that inside your skin. But the other thing it does is it helps to keep your pores lubricated. Meaning if there's oil on the surface, just a bit of clean oil on the surface of your skin, then your pores can keep moving the toxins out. And that means next time you wash your face, you can remove those ones that are on the surface, but you need to immediately replace the oil. So what we do is we get into trouble when we clean out everything and we dry our face and we try to shrink the pores, because then it kind of closes off, and then we try to re-moisturize, but everything's closed off and that's not functioning. And again, moisture is not oil. Oil is not moisture. Your skin needs oil in addition to moisture. So when you're moisturizing, that is not enough. Your skin needs oil. In fact, I would say your skin needs oil more so than it needs moisture, because it will generate its own moisture if you are drinking enough water, if you're not dehydrated. For the most part, not always. Sometimes you need to add additional moisture, and some people have dry skin versus oily skin. So check your own skin. But that's kind of my assessment. So remember, your skin is an ecosystem. Stop trying to make it do something that's not supposed to do. Stop trying to make it stop doing something that's supposed to do, which is excreting those toxins, excreting the gunk that is in your system that needs to come out. Your pores are there for a reason, to keep all of that stuff out, okay? And so you need to allow that to happen. You need to let your body do that stuff. It might sound gross to you. You're going to have to get over it. Now, when you get blackheads and when you get zits, that's because you've actually blocked those. It also can be hormonal, and hormonal can just be where, there can be different kinds of things going on, and there can be other stuff that's below the surface. Medical issues are not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about normal acne, normal blackheads, normal pores. If you keep it all well lubricated, and I don't want to say hydrated, because that's a different thing, but if you keep it lubricated, it's going to help so that your pores are working well and naturally. This is my philosophy based on years of doing this myself, and also based on years of dealing with acne that came from PCOS and just being hormonal and having oily skin, and thinking I was doing my skin a favor by removing all of the oil. So I would do things like I would get all these masks and all these scrubs and all these, things that pull the things out of the pores. And you don't want to do that. Do not pull stuff out of the pores. Instead, the way that I use the oil, and I'm going to use one of these. So if you take, this is what we would call a carrier oil. Now I'm going to tell you why this is not necessarily ideal. But a carrier oil is an oil that is not an essential oil. So a carrier oil generally comes from a larger source, like a larger fruit or something like that. An essential oil is a very concentrated oil. It usually comes from herbs. It might come from flowers. It can come from certain things like, certain nuts and that sort of things might be essential oils. But essentially, it's the strength of the oil and the potency of the oil that kind of determines more or less how you use it. If you open up an oil and you smell it, and it just smells like oil, like cooking oil, not necessarily, but kind of, it is essentially a carrier oil. If you open up something and it smells very strong, like a flower, or like even medicine, because people think medicine is chemical, but the smell you have is actually probably more based on essential oils, like what are some of the ones that I have? Like rosemary smells very medicinal. What are the other ones? Come on, you have them, Priscilla. Oh, they're right here. Lavender, What do I have in here? Lavender. No, the other ones. Eucalyptus. That's the other one I'm thinking of. And tea tree. Those are very like medicinal smelling. If it smells like something like that, it's probably an essential oil. But you should know your oils and you should know your source as much as possible. But if you take a carrier oil like this, don't use cooking oil. Bad idea. That's going to be too thick and it's not going to be close enough to your skin. Grapeseed oil is good. Grapeseed oil is a cooking oil, but it's like a more expensive cooking oil. And this is a cooking oil. So you can use this, but don't use like, corn oil or, vegetable oil, or even things like coconut oil can be a little bit too thick, depending on, you can try it. If you have super dry skin or whatnot, it may or may not work. I don't know. And some of the almond oil is usually pretty good because it's more thin. They call it more dry. So that would mean if I would take this oil, I only use this for my skin. So, I'm not going to worry too much about that. You put it on your skin. When you rub it in, it doesn't look greasy. It basically goes right into the skin. If I put something like cooking oil, it's going to sit on the skin a little bit more. But this really is going to just go right into my skin and feel like a moisturizer, or it's really a conditioner. It's not a moisturizer, it's a conditioner. But it's going to feel nice and soft and conditioned. So yes, that I will put on my face and I'll just kind of rub it all over. Now, if I have eye makeup on, which I do right now, then I'll put it specifically on my eye, but I'm putting it on the eyelid and then just kind of brushing it across the eyelashes without trying to get it, I'm closing my eyes, brushing it across the eyelashes to just loosen up the mascara and whatnot. I have never had problems with that. Again, I am not a doctor. I'm not a professional. I'm simply somebody who has been doing this for a while. Never had issues with that. If the oil gets in my eye, which does happen sometimes, it'll just be blurry for a minute and then I blink it out and we're good. Or I wash it out and we're good. But again, I'm not an expert. I would not recommend that you use that with essential oils or an essential oil mix because it can cause irritation and potentially something worse. I don't know. Again, I am not a professional. This is just my opinion. You do you and do the research and figure it out and experiment, but be very careful because I don't know. I'm just giving you my experience. So using the grapeseed oil, for example, I will just put that on my eyes and I'll usually do like 3 pumps. So I have this little guy, which is a jojoba. Jojoba is another one. This brand, which is a Sky Organics, this is sold at Walmart. And I got this one. I also got this hemp oil from there. And they have several other natural oils as well. And these are all organic and they're supposed to be 100% pure and all that. So use these. But this one, I like the bottle. This is not what it is. This is a mix of my various carrier oils plus neem oil, which I consider neem oil kind of an essential oil, even though it comes in a big bottle, which is usually, kind of how you figure out. Usually essential oils come in these little guys because they're more expensive. But I'll take this and I'll just do like 3 pumps and then I'll dab my finger in and kind of put it on the eyes. And then I put the rest all over the face. I let it sit there while I'm doing whatever else and preparing. If I'm going to take a shower, I'll kind of do that as I'm getting ready for the shower. If I'm not going to do the shower, then I'll go and do whatever else for like a minute or two, just while it kind of settles in. And what happens is the oil that we're adding kind of binds with the natural oil on your skin. And when that happens, it kind of gets the system moving. It kind of recharges that cleansing system. And so as it binds with that, when you wash this out, you're carrying out the toxins that your natural oils in your face have already adhered to. Plus, the oils in this break down your eye makeup or your face makeup or whatever it happens to be, and it helps to pull that off. So you can get that's why oil cleansers are so popular, because they work so well, because it binds with that and pulls it off. Do not go in. Okay, you can do what you want. I mean, it's your skin, right? But I recommend you don't go in with another oil, with another cleanser, because then you're removing the oil, which is going to undo the good that you've done. Instead, if you need to, go in with some more oil, put more oil on your face, and then kind of work that in. And I have a soft microfiber cloth that I got from AOA Studio for $1, but you can get them elsewhere as well. Or just a, a washcloth is fine, but try to make it, it's soft is good. It's just, less abrasion on your face, but whatever, you do you. Whatever works for you, or you don't have to use it. You can just splash water on your face. I like to use hot water and kind of put it on my face for just a second, because that opens the pores. And again, it helps the oil that I've just put on my face to connect with the oil that is in the pores and kind of, again, get that system moving so that it's drawing out some of those toxins. And yeah, helping it to do this, whatever this is, doing that, right? So it's actually getting it to move forward. Again, it's like, giving your car an oil change. It's going to just work more smoothly. And then you can go in with cooler. What you don't want to use hot water and then like too hot of water if you don't have some sort of protection like this, because hot water can dry out your skin, and it's going to be the opposite. So if you're going, I recommend that you go in with hot water and kind of open it up and then kind of wash it all off, and then finish up with the cooler water. So when you're rinsing off, finish it with the cooler water. But I do not use cleansers on my face. And this might be something that surprises people, but I don't use cleansers on my face because I believe that cleansers remove the oil that your skin needs to function. And again, you can call me a liar, but I think that my skin shows that it works. I have makeup on right now, but my skin's pretty decent. And, again, I'm 45 years old. I don't have the acne that I had. My hair is another thing. I've been using the same oil on my hair, and I can talk about that as well. So I go in and I wash my face with the carrier oil or my carrier oil blend. So this is a blend. This includes things like jojoba, the grapeseed. I have sunflower oil. Again, this one came from the grocery store, and I'll talk about why you do or do not want to do that. The hemp oil. I think I have argan oil. I have rosehip oil. And I have neem oil. So neem oil is the one in this bunch that is a little bit stronger. Some people say this stinks really bad and smells like garlic. Like garlic. I don't think it smells like garlic. I think this smells like, it's a nutty. To me, it's very nutty, like almost like if you've ever smelled crushed acorns. So it's like a little bit more bitter, and it does taste very bitter. You can brush your teeth with it as well, and it's supposed to be good for dental hygiene, but it also apparently can induce miscarriages. So do not do that if you're pregnant or want to get pregnant. That's my disclaimer. But also read up on it, because this is a very potent oil. So whatever you're going to do, read up on this oil. Make sure you know what you're getting into. But it's also very powerful and very good oil for many different things. I just put a little bit into this, but this is the mix of carrier oil. This is not pure jojoba anymore because I put so many other things in it. And then I'll just put this on my hand and then put it everywhere. Then after I have cleansed my face, like I said, I don't dry my face. I immediately go to this. This is a combination of carrier oil, and I mix the carrier oil in this guy. So this is not hemp seed oil anymore, or not pure hemp seed oil anymore. This is a mix of my carrier oil plus all of these guys. I have, let me see how many I have. And I'll actually tell you what all I have. I just like essential oils. I think they're fun. And these are pure essential oils that are medical grade, so people say you're not supposed to use the ones that are intended for like burning in your house. I don't think there's really a difference, except some of those are just not actual natural oils. If natural oil, you for the most part can use it on your face. As long as you again, research what is in it and whatnot. You want to make sure you're not putting anything crazy. All of these are intended for skin, but again, you do you, it's your skin. But check it out first. Go a little bit at a time. I've added these gradually, but I'll tell you what all these are. So this one is or acacia. I think I got this from Target, this little set here. And it has these 4 So these are 4 of the most common, and this is a great way to go. I think they have something similar to this in the same aisle at Walmart where you can get these guys. So you can get these little essential sets with usually these ones are the ones you'll find in it. I've got tea tree. Tea tree is very good for general healing, for kind of everything. Peppermint is good, but be careful about that around the eyes because it can irritate. I have it in mine. It doesn't bother my eyes, but I don't put it directly on my eyes. But it is around my eyes, and it does come into contact with my lashes and my eyebrows, which I'll talk about in a second if I remember. Eucalyptus is really good. It is a very medicinal sort of scent, and it's what, if you get messed up sinuses, you can inhale it and get that cleared sinuses. And lavender, which is, again, the reason that these all smell like medicine is because traditionally this is what medicine was made out of, is essential oils. So lavender smells like, it's the scent that they use in medicines, in bathroom cleaners and things like that. So sometimes people can think that these smell bad because they're associating with the medicines and the bathroom cleaners and things like that they've been connected with. But that's, the original, the pure ones I think they smell great. I like essential oils, and I like a combination of them. I'll grab this one next because it's one of a kind, even though the cap is cracked, which makes me sad. This is my vetiver, which I have shown in some of my other. So vetiver comes from a grass that is grown largely in Haiti. And as you may know, I lived in Haiti for some years. And so this is one of the major exports as far as dollar value, I believe, from Haiti. And some of the best vetiver for perfume and for medicinal stuff comes from Haiti. And so I have this guy. This is a ½ ounce that has lasted me forever. The real stuff is thick. It's almost like glued on. So this cap actually takes a second, especially since it's broken, but it's cracked. But it's really sticky because it's such a thick oil, and that's, it's not like some of these others. It's almost like honey. Would be almost like that's the consistency of it. So if you get real vetiver, that's how it is. If you get it watered down, it's going to be more runny. But the real stuff from Haiti, it's harder to get unless you go to Haiti. If you go to Haiti, it's really easy and really cheap, relatively cheap. Otherwise, it's kind of expensive because vetiver is fairly highly prized. Anyway, I will treasure that, and then when I go back to Haiti, I'll get like a gallon of it and bring it back so that I have it forever. Okay, I've got rosemary. These are from this premium. I think I got these from Amazon. So this is rosemary, which also smells very medicinal, but is very good for lots of things, hair, skin, whatnot. And ylang ylang, which is really good for like anti-aging and things like that. And the ylang ylang smells amazingly good. I want to add more like floral stuff in here. I'm going to get like jasmine and rose, and there's a couple others. Clary sage I like to add too. I really like that, but also it's yeah, Red, I'm not going to answer that question because it's not really relevant to the conversation. So having interesting questions here. And then there's a question saying that I can hardly be heard. I am hoping that will be better as we go. It could be that the microphone is covered. Let me see if I pull this out a little bit. And this is for IG. If that helps a little bit, I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to pay attention, but to what's going on. But I'm also trying to get through all these. So hopefully that helps. So I'm using my phone for IG, and so it may or may not. When I've listened to it before, it seemed like it was pretty clear. So I maybe just had the microphone covered up because it might have been against the computer. I have it resting against the computer. And then I'm using the computer for YouTube. But yeah, Red, that's, I wash. I wash. I'm a woman. stuff happens, you know, hey, whatever. All right. So I have these ones. I think these are from Walmart. I believe all of these are from Walmart. And this is the Guru Nanda brand. Globally farmed, ethically sourced, natural, 100% pure and natural essential oils. Therapeutic grade. And so I've got frankincense, lemongrass. These are around, $6 a piece. I just slowly have collected them. Clove. And yep, you're welcome. And lemon. So lemon is another one that can be a little bit strong. I don't put as much lemon or peppermint in as some of the other ones because I want it to not irritate my eyes. But I try to do what I can. So Cosas, is it any better? You're saying that the broadcasting stops and that the volume is bad. Was that any better if you're still around? Or my IG people, if you can let me know if that improved, that would be great. I want to make sure you guys can actually hear, because it'd be a bummer if we went through all this and you can't hear. But hopefully. And then I got this guy, and I believe I got this one from, I maybe got this one from Hy-Vee, or I don't know. Might have been Hy-Vee, but it might not have. Okay, so Hannah says she can hear me fine. Okay, cool. Good. So it might not be me, it might be you. I'm not to point fingers, or I should say maybe not my connection, it's maybe your connection. I don't know. So hopefully, if you can't hear me, that might be what it is. So, yeah, IG lives sometimes don't work well, Red says, but sometimes they do work well. And in the past, I was having more problems with my YouTube, so who knows? Who knows how it is? So I use patchouli. Again, some of these are really strong, and it really is up to you how you use it. So when I open this, so this has just a few drops of each, because what I do is I fill this up with the carrier oils. I kind of just mix them up. However, it does have the neem oil, and neem oil is strong, so it can overpower. But when you mix all this other stuff in, I'm not really smelling neem oil at all. And then I just put drops in, and I just estimate. I put like 20 drops in for something like this. I'll put 20 drops of each of these, or 30 or 40 or 15 or whatever I'm in the mood for at the time. And then it's going to smell like all of those oils. Literally is what this smells like. Yeah, and I think it smells great. I think it smells basically like if you go into a herbal store. So if you go to like a Whole Foods herbal, it just smells like a bunch of herbs together. So it smells, you get a little bit of peppermint, a little bit of lemongrass, a little bit, the ylang-ylang is in there. It's really light because they're all mixed together. And I would say the ylang-ylang is probably one of the least strong of all of the oils that I have in here. So when I do this, like I said, I just put a few drops in the morning. I put a few drops, like 6 drops is what I'm doing right now. When my face is wet, I rub my hands together and I put it all over my face. This has, and then at night, I do the same thing, but I do like 10 because it's at night and I don't care if my face is a little bit more greasy because I'm going to sleep. So I use it kind of like a sleeping mask that way. And then I put a moisturizer over the top because I have moisturizers that I'm using, and my skin has needed a little bit more moisture because moving from the Caribbean to Minnesota, my skin is crying. Anyway, this is, so I'll show you some of the benefits, and some of this is artificial, so I apologize because, hey, makeup makes the world go around, right? So moving in a little bit, and actually I'll take off my glasses so you can see. So this is me, what I look like. So like I said, I'm 45. I do have lines here, but I don't have a whole lot. You can kind of see the laugh lines and whatnot. I don't have a whole lot going on here. I do have a little bit. Sometimes I get a turkey neck that happens here, depending on what. It's so weird. Like, it seems like the time of day, like early in the morning, it might look like I've got a turkey neck, and then like it's just little wrinkles that come like this, and then later it just kind of goes away. So I don't know what causes that, but this does seem to have firmed it up. In fact, that's one of the reasons I started to research this so much, is I started like getting all of this like weird loose skin here, and I was like, what in the world? So I decided to see what other oils I could put in with that. The other really great benefits. So I have put it on my face and I've gone down my neck, and then I kind of stopped here. Well, you can see here, I have skin tags. My dad had a whole bunch of skin tags. That was kind of, I guess that's what he passed on to me. But also this is a PCOS thing. People with PCOS tend to get skin tags. I don't know why, but we do. My skin tags on my neck used to be really big, like about 10 times the size of this one. And they're all gone. There's a little bit right here, but most of these, like this one used to be really big and it's almost not there. So this is really helping a lot of them disappear or fade at least. Okay, I'll talk about the other in a second. I'll get back to that. I use this on my lips as well. And when I put it over my face, I kind of just go over everything, but it does kind of skim over my eyelashes, and it definitely goes over my eyebrows, but I don't put it on my eyes. I don't apply it to my eyes. I just rub it all over my face and down my neck. And now I'm going down on my chest too. And I just started that like a little bit ago. So who knows? It has really made my eyebrows and my eyelashes grow like crazy. So I don't wear falsies. I can't do that. But my eyelashes, and it might not be fair because I'm wearing mascara, but my eyelashes are actually probably twice the length they were before I started to use this oil. So there's a benefit. So then for my hair, I use exactly the same thing, but I will, when I'm washing my hair, I wash my hair once a week. When I'm washing my hair, I will do like 3 pumps of this or whatever I feel led. I just let the spirit lead me. And I'll go down. A lot of times I'll use it with a moisturizer, like any sort of a natural conditioner, because that will put the oil in my hair. And then I combine it with this so that I lock in that moisture. Because I don't want to if you just put a lot of this on your hair, it's going to lock out the moisture. All right, so you want to lock in the moisture. So mix it with something that's like a conditioner that carries moisture, or you can mix it with a aloe vera gel or something like that that has a lot of moisture in it. Make sure the aloe vera gel doesn't have any alcohol in it. And then I just put it all the way down, and I do that a couple times. And then I mix it at the top. But when I do the top, I try to use this because this also helps with scalp health and it helps with growth. I don't think this really helps the end as much. It does a little bit, but I put quite a bit in here, and I'll probably take a full like dropper 4, 5, 6 times and put it right into my scalp. And then I just run it in, and I either massage with my fingers without rubbing. I don't want to rub my hair, but I just kind of squeeze the scalp, and then I pick up my fingers and move them along, and then squeeze the scalp and pick up my fingers and move it along. That's like the slow motion sort of thing, right? I also have that little head massager thing that I'll do, but I do that in between. And then I have my boar brush that I'll brush the hair with during the week. And if my hair is feeling dry on the ends, I'll put a drop or 2 of this oil in the boar brush, and I'll flip my head upside down, and I'll brush from the nape of my neck down to the ends of the hair, and then I'll flip it back over and brush it the other way. And that usually gets the sebum to the ends, and it just adds a little bit extra help to the ends to make sure that they're well moisturized / conditioned. Not moisturized, but conditioned. Is that basically what I'm doing I think that's kind of it. So how I decide what oils to put in, I do some research and I just start with one. I start with a carrier oil, pick your poison, so to speak. Decide what carrier oil works for you, and then put a few drops. Start that, see how that works for a couple of weeks or whatever it is. And then you can start to research and say, you can go on Google. Google is, you know, where I find all this. Just go on Google and say, my issue is acne. What essential oils help for acne? My issue is fine lines. My issue is, you know, redness. My issue is dark spots, whatever it is. And then figure out what helps with that and put that, add it, just a few drops. So if you have this much jojoba oil and that's your carrier oil of choice, put, you know, like 20 drops of an essential oil in. This is different, but, and then just mix that up, try it. But you probably will want to test this first. Put it like here, because this is a thin skin that's more similar to like the skin around here. So that will give you an idea if you're going to break out from it. It's similar to here too. You could also test it on your neck, but I prefer it here because I think this is going to be less irritating than on your neck. It's also going to be less noticeable, maybe. So the other thing I'm playing with here, because I said I have skin tags, I picked this up, and this is Thuja oil and THUJA, and it's mixed with, so it's Thuja oil plus tea tree and castor oil. I don't have any castor oil in this because I find castor oil to be a little bit thick for me because I am more oily, but you know. But this oil, so this is mostly Thuja oil, and then I've done some research on it, and I'm going to try this. I'm using it in a very specific place. I've got 2 little skin tags right here. I know people say, don't use it by your eyes, but I'm going to do it anyhow because they're right here. There's one here and there's one here. And so I just put a tiny bit on it about 3 times a day, sometimes more. I also have a bigger one that's right here that's been there forever. And I'm just trying to like lessen that. So it says it takes a couple of weeks, but eventually they'll just kind of fall off. I'm hoping it works. If it doesn't work, I may actually go for the Thuja full strength and try to use that on this one and see if that, I don't want to use that really right by my eye, but see if that will help with this one. I don't know. We'll see. I think this is getting smaller, but I can't quite tell. It seems like it was bigger. I will report back. But if this works, I may just add it to my essential oil because it does seem like it's good for hair and skin. You can do different ones. Like you can do one for your hair, one for your skin, you know, for different kinds of things. That's fine. And also keeping in mind, the Lang Lang is apparently toxic for dogs. Wow, it looks like I've used a lot of this. I must like how it smells. I do like how it smells. But this is apparently toxic for dogs. So, and there's other ones that might be toxic for animals or babies or whatnot. So make sure you're reading the warnings on it and making sure that it's not going to cause any issues with anybody around you. Washing your hands after you use them. Don't let your dog lick your face after you put it on your face. You know, let it like sink in or whatever. I have a dog. I haven't had any problems with her. But you know, again, I don't like rub her with the same hands that I use to apply it until I wash my hands. I also use this on my nails. And after I put it on my face, I've just made a habit of just rubbing my, whatever the extra product on the back of my hands. Just because why not, right? The back of your hands need moisture and help too. So that's kind of my in-depth on everything that I have learned and experienced with oil. It's made my hair way thicker and way healthier than it has ever been. It's made my eyelashes and my eyebrows grow in, and it has cleared up a lot of my skin tags. And it seems to have cleared up some of my scarring, or like lessened some of my scarring. And just, I mean, I've been using it for about 15, maybe more years. And to be fair, I have always apparently looked fairly young. I'm usually judged to be about 10 years younger than I am. But I do think that this has had a lot to do with it too, because I just think the lack of, you know, excessive lines, lack of a lot of lines and whatnot, or I do have some skin spots that this does seem to be helping a little bit, but I did not long ago research oils for skin spots. So you just add stuff in. You say, okay, is that going to work? Okay, that's going to work. Okay, fine. So, you know, do you? and see what works for you and experiment around. That's what I got to say. That's my experience. I have no idea if it'll work for you. And Hannah is actually a nurse, so she can tell me if I told you any dangerous or detrimental advice, and can tell you don't do what I told you to do if that's the case. But hopefully that will help. I do think that essential oils are really powerful. And the main thing is you do not have to pay $40 for a bottle of skincare. You just don't. You can get any of these that I forgot to tell you one thing that I was going to tell you. Any of these are going to cost $10, $15 at Walmart or Amazon or at Whole Foods or whatever. You're going to be able to get, even a little bottle of essential oil. Sorry, wrong one. You can get this for $6 to $10, depending on what oil it is. One last thing is you can get these from a grocery store, which is where I got these, and I got my first ones. But it's not necessarily the best place. It doesn't hurt. And I did this basically just to stretch it and make it go further because I'm cheap. But that's kind of it. But, still I use a lot of stuff together, and I'll spend more money on some of the things like the rose hip oil and things like that, because I know that's a little bit more valuable and a little bit harder to harvest. But when you get something that is food quality, it has been processed more. So that's the potential disadvantage. It's not going to have additives in it necessarily, and it is safe for you to consume, which is why it's food grade. But it has, like I said, it's been processed more. So some of the value of it might have been reduced. Some of the heat, like this is a high heat. Oh wait, no, it's for high heat. It's graded for high heat. It's refined. Yeah, I don't know how these are refined, but however they are refined, it could be that the value for your skin is actually minimized with this. It's not going to make it bad for your skin. It just might not make it as good for your skin. So that's the reason that you may not want to buy it from the grocery store in the grocery aisle, but just go to like a natural oil supplier and get it that way. So have fun with your oils. Yeah, my husband uses it on his beard and on his face, and we use it on our hair, skin, whatever. Good stuff. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if this was helpful for you. I hope that it was. And in these, I just kind of talk about whatever. I talk about just being healthy, being happy with the way that you look. And I talk about my experiences as a 45-year-old plus size PCOS having woman who is likes makeup and perfume and fashion. So if that's stuff that you're interested in, hang out, like, subscribe, comment, share, and let people know that we're doing this so that I can continue to grow. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. I do this every Sunday at 5, and I've been doing it Wednesdays at 10, and that's p.m., and that's Central Standard Time. But I may change that Wednesday a little bit earlier. Schedules are changing around here so that we might be able to do it a little bit earlier. We'll see what happens. And then maybe more people can join in. So I will see you in the next one, and have a great Sunday. Have a great week. Bye. I got to hit all the X's. There's one. End video. End stream. End.